We begin tonight with breaking news in New York City. I'm Mark Brown.
I'm Michelle Fisher. An investigation underway right now after an alleged gunman shot a person and an officer and then killed himself inside the building. A shooting happened today outside that building that contains an investment company and the NFL headquarters. The building currently under a lockdown. Police say the suspect went inside after the officer and person were shot. He then killed himself on the 33rd floor. The condition of those victims remains unclear. And we want to take a look at this dramatic photo there. An employee at Blackstone sent this to one of our Eyewitness News reporters. He was allegedly on the same floor as the shooter when he shot himself. He sent us this photo of how they barricaded the door with office furniture. The shooter did not reach them, luckily.
It was just another Monday evening in Manhattan, 6:30 p.m. The heart of Midtown pulsed with its usual rhythm. Executives wrapping up meetings, tourists snapping photos, city workers on their way home. Then something shattered that rhythm. A series of sharp, thunderous cracks echoed through the steel and glass canyons of Park Avenue. People froze, others ran, and within moments, chaos erupted at 345 Park Avenue. A building that housed some of the world's most powerful firms had just become ground zero for a tragedy no one saw coming.
All right, and we continue coverage of a Midtown Manhattan shooting here on Fox Local. We're streaming live. So what we do know is that at least 2 people have been shot in a Midtown Manhattan building. This is on East 52nd between Park Avenue and Lexington Avenue. Sources say that the shooter has killed himself. We're still learning more information. Again, this has all been unfolding. We first started hearing about this sometime after 6 p.m. A lot of witness reports paint a very, very scary situation, and we even have pictures of the suspect kind of just striding into this area of Park Avenue and East 52nd Street with an AR-15 along his side. So at this point, NYPD tells us that the scene has been contained and the shooter has been neutralized, but it is still a very active scene out there. A lot of police presence. A lot of the area has been shut down. I just can't get over that picture that we're showing of that suspect. He just seems to be walking with such purpose, striding, and he looked like he was wearing a business suit with sunglasses, just walking into this very busy area. Look at that, and you can see the AR-15. It's just unbelievable, all those people around him too. What's your take? I guess, are there still people out there just in shock?
Yeah, I'll show you. We want to show you some of the folks. If you look in this area, you can see folks are lining this sidewalk where police have moved us back, and some of them have been looking at pictures of that suspect, and they've been standing here just basically in awe, like in shock of what they saw. This is an AR-15, as you described, walking into a building like that. So, of course, there's a lot of shock here, a lot of worry, because it's unlike anything they've ever seen.
Witnesses described it as something out of a war zone. A man emerged from a black BMW, calm, deliberate, carrying a M4 rifle. He walked straight toward the skyscraper without hesitation. Security footage later revealed what happened next. As the glass doors parted, he entered the lobby and turned right. His first target, a uniformed NYPD officer, stood no chance. Then a woman cowering behind a pillar. Then another. The gunman moved forward, his weapon still raised. He found a security guard hiding behind the desk, and then another man, wounded, crawling. But not everyone was harmed. One woman stepped out of an elevator, and for reasons unknown, he let her go. Why? Why her?
We do begin here with breaking news in New York City. A chaotic scene unfolding at this hour in Midtown Manhattan. Police say a gunman opened fire late today on Park Avenue on the city's east side. Tonight, ABC News obtaining an image of the suspected gunman, a man in a suit and sunglasses, armed with a long gun. We're told at least 2 people have been shot, an off-duty NYPD officer and a civilian. The alleged shooter then entering an office building, the headquarters of the NFL and Blackstone Group, an investment firm. Employees racing from the building with their hands up in the air, those inside told to shelter in place. ABC's Juju Chang leading us off tonight right here in New York.
Tonight, at least 3 people are dead, including an off-duty officer after a horrific shooting in Midtown Manhattan, inside the Park Avenue headquarters of the NFL and Blackstone Group. Sources telling ABC News the suspected gunman, seen here with a long gun and sunglasses, walked into the building and opened fire. Employees told to shelter in place, barricading themselves inside offices with furniture. Our Will Reeve on the scene.
Here on Park Avenue, just blocks south of the building where it happened, there is a wall of light and sound, an overwhelming response from emergency services.
Witnesses describing the terrifying scene.
We heard multiple shots go off in quick succession from the first floor, and a lot of us just rushed into the rooms.
Armed officers racing in behind the suspect, conducting a floor-by-floor search. Police say the suspect apparently barricaded himself on the 33rd floor and was later found dead from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. And David, the FBI is now on the scene, assisting the NYPD in this urgent investigation. Authorities tonight still searching for the motive. David?
Nightline anchor Juju Chang with us here tonight. Juju, thank you. I know you'll be working this throughout the evening.
What happened next took the terror to another level. He called the elevator and ascended floor 33, home to executive offices, legal teams, analysts. And yet, on this floor, he didn't seek anyone out. He wandered, firing as he walked. One person was struck and killed. Then, silence. A single gunshot rang out once more. But this time, it wasn't aimed at anyone else. The shooter had turned the weapon on himself. A bullet to the chest. It was over. Or was it?
One person telling us that they heard gunshots popping. They also saw that shooter walking into the building with an AR-15. This is a look from Sky Fox right now, live over the scene. Officers look to be searching a vehicle. It's a very, very active scene. We're kind of getting all the details right now. Still a very large police presence. Well, what we do know is 2 people have been shot, at least 2 people, including a police officer, and this has sparked a massive police presence. We know that this is a very busy area in terms of commercial businesses, big hedge funds, law firms, banks. You think about this around 6:10 with this all unfolding towards the end of the workday, and there's a big MTA station in the area as well, 53rd and Lex. People at the end of their day heading home, so this sparked a shelter in place for a lot of the businesses in that building. One person who we talked to said that he was evacuated for 30 to 45 minutes. So as you can imagine, a very scary ordeal with people hearing gunshots, with people even seeing the shooter walking in with an AR-15.
His name was Shane Devon Tamura, 27 years old, from Las Vegas. No known connections to the building, no clear target. Police confirmed a documented history of mental illness, but nothing could explain the cold precision of what he did or the mystery of what he didn't do. Why spare one person in the elevator? Why end it on the 33rd floor? Was this planned or spontaneous? And perhaps the most haunting question of all, did anyone see this coming? Outside, the city was paralyzed. Officers sealed off East 52nd Street. Flashlights swept through the cabs. Drivers ordered to lower windows. The NYPD urged civilians to avoid the area. The FBI arrived. Helicopters, SWAT, bomb units. No one knew if this was over or just the beginning. Inside the building, survivors told stories that didn't feel real. One witness, Nikisha Lewis, said it was like watching the world implode. Glass exploded. A wounded worker ran toward her. Blood soaked his shirt. He cried for help. She and her partner tried to assist, just as police surged in. It felt like a war zone, she said, like we were stuck inside something we couldn't escape.
Let's get out to Kendall Green, who is live in that area. Kendall, it's still a very active scene behind you. What can you tell us?
Yeah, hey, good evening, Natasha. We're here along Park and 54th. I'm just going to give you a look right now. You see a bunch of people. They were inside a building that's pretty close to where everything unfolded. They're now being evacuated. Several folks in that situation who were working in this building at the time, they tell me they were told to be in a shelter in place because that was an active shooter going on. And I talked to a few people out here that are waiting for loved ones, just wanting to make sure that they're okay. But one of the witnesses we spoke with earlier, he says he was in the corner building that's about maybe a block over, just from the corner from where this all happened. And one of the managers or law enforcement, they told him that they needed to be in place. And he looked outside from, I think, the 30th floor, he recalled, and he saw that the danger inside. But as AP has reported, at least 2 people, including New York police officers, were shot on Monday at Midtown office building that houses some of the country's top financial firms and National Football League. That includes the National Football League. And police haven't immediately identified any victims, but we spoke with one of the witnesses here who says he saw some of those victims that were in a black BMW. I believe Skyfox had some shots of that actual car, but he said he saw they didn't appear to be alive at the time when he saw after this shooting. He said about maybe early, once the shooting happened, he saw about 5 officers, and then from there, this is the scene you have. Dozens, I mean, maybe even say hundreds are out here lining Park Avenue. And this is with a bunch of businesses, banks, firms, and like I said, including the NFL. And we spoke to some of those witnesses who just really honestly couldn't believe what they saw here, being this close to Park Avenue, here in Midtown, busy side of New York, police presence in this area, unlike anything they've ever seen before, Natasha.
Amidst the horror, a name emerged. Didaral Islam, the NYPD officer killed in the initial exchange. He didn't hesitate. He stood his ground, and he gave his life protecting others. Tributes poured in, flags lowered, his name etched into the memory of a city that would never forget what happened at 345 Park Avenue. 1 officer, 4 civilians. A normal Monday turned into tragedy.
Let's get to Kendall, who's on the scene right now. Kendall, you are talking to this gentleman who works at 399 Park, which is just a couple of blocks away from where the shooting happened.
Right. This gentleman, Shad, you were just a couple blocks from where the shooting happened, and you said you were in shelter in place for how long?
For about like 2.5, 3 hours. We were stuck in there. They told us to stay put. They told us that there was something happening outside, and it's not safe to be out there. So we just tried to stay put and do what we can. Yeah.
And to know that shooting happened right there next door.
I walk that way. I walk that way all the time. Like I get lunch there. I sit there. I have a lot of friends that work around here. So it's just crazy to hear something is happening so close to you. Like you hear about it on the news, but then when it's right there, it's crazy.
And what's going through your mind? You said you have a whole bunch of friends that work here in this area. What was the sentiment when you talked to them about what was going on? Were they responsive?
No, I mean, as soon as I realized that, because it took me a second to realize, wait a minute, I have other people here too. And so I started calling people up. Thankfully, they were okay. Some people didn't come in today, which is great. But no, I mean, it was just straight panic, as soon as I heard it.
And what, you said 3 hours. What's going through your mind when you're in there and you're watching everything unfold?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't getting much news or information at all, as far as like from the company. I mean, obviously we're just kind of there, staying put, trying to hear what's happening. But I did hear from friends, and I heard from, certain news articles online that basically what was happening. An active gunman walked in, and he walked straight into a building. We weren't for sure, like we didn't know whether it was our building at first, so we were, it was straight panic right off the bat as far as just being concerned. But then once, even regardless, it was right next to us, so it was just really scary.
There's been images of that individual walking around with that weapon, with that assault rifle.
Yeah, I saw that picture, yeah.
And when you saw that, and you're seeing that that's just a door over.
Yeah, no, I mean, those same steps, that same area, I walk through that all the time. So seeing that online and seeing that person with a gun walking right through it too, it just puts it into perspective. You don't know what's going to happen to you. You're not going to, like, you think it's not going to happen to you, and then it does, right?
And then all this police response. Nothing like you would have expected, I'm sure, right outside of where you were.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't. I would never expect that. Again, like this is a regular thing walking through here. To hear someone just walk right through with a gun, it's just puts things into perspective. You know, it's you got to be safe. You got to stay safe out there.
Thank you for making time.
Authorities say the threat is contained. The shooter dead. The motive unknown. No manifesto. No note. No digital trail that yet explains why. Just a black BMW, an M4 rifle, and the sound of glass shattering at twilight. In a city of millions, one man brought everything to a stop. But the questions he leaves behind, they're just beginning. This was no random act. Something darker may still be buried beneath the silence. And if the answers don't surface soon, we may never know what truly happened inside that building and inside his mind. Alright y'all, there y'all have it, man. That's the crazy story of the Manhattan John Wick. Hey man, get in that comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Drillers and trappers, we out here trapping and drilling 247. Don't go nowhere. Watch that next video. Gang!